Enough. Cut. Hey guys, anyone, what's cracking? Hey, so I recently saw Solo, a Star Wars story, and Star Wars might be in trouble. Now thankfully I didn't have to buy a ticket, which works out really well since Disney will not get a red cent from me anytime soon. My review? Who really cares? But in brief, here are some of my thoughts on it. Alden Ehrenreich? Yes. Alden Ehrenreich doesn't look like, sound like, act like, talk like, or have mannerisms like Han Solo. He simply dresses like Han Solo. That's not him, and enough about that. Donald Glover does an okay job with Lando Calrissian, but I'm still not convinced. Still, Jon Kasdan screwed him up even more by following the trend of once again injecting political agendas into Star Wars. These guys just can't resist the soapbox. None of them can. And then he was a pompous ass about it. Sorry to have brought identity, gender, politics into... Nope, not sorry at all, because I think the galaxy George gave birth to in 77 is big enough for everyone. Straight, gay, black, white, brown, Twi'lek, Celestin, Wookiee, droid, and anything in between. Hashtag droid rights. Hashtag we are sentient. Hashtag you're a douchebag. Good going, John. Real classy. So I guess Lando is pansexual now, which I guess means that he's sexually attracted to pans? Kitchen pans, panda bears, pantomimes, pancakes? Peter Pan? I had to look it up since I guess general labels aren't good enough anymore. We need to further divide people into subsets for everyone to be happy. So basically, anything is fair game to catch Lando's wandering eye. Yeah, because that contributes to the story. Not that I have anything against gay people or mechanophilia. Not my cup of tea, but to each their own. But that's not Lando. As a side note, people have asked why it should even matter. Well, the fanbase got pretty riled up about Greedo shooting first, so need the question be asked? It's safe to say that people are very protective of these characters, even from the creator himself. Why couldn't they make Kira pansexual? Or a gay, male-identifying, cross-dressing lesbian? A fresh slate... Wait, wouldn't that all cancel each other out? Just make her a straight woman? Carry the two, divide by the... Regardless, a fresh slate character that could have been anything they wanted. Why do they have to screw with Lando? Because they'd be open to it now? Why do they keep doing this to establish characters? Now I will say this, if Jon Kasdan, the wordsmith, hadn't announced that Lando is pansexual now, I don't think I would have noticed that much. He's not flamboyant about it, but because this nugget of information is out there, you look for it, and you could clearly see it. Oh, and they insinuate that he's getting down with his droid, stopping just short of describing how. Yeah, because that contributes to the story. Now when I watch Empire Strikes Back and Lando says, "Hello, what have we here?" I won't really know if he's talking to Leia. She does step forward, but maybe she's being conceited and very insensitive in assuming that everyone is straight. Maybe he was talking to the droids, or a trash can. He does kind of play hard to get with C-3PO, doesn't he? And that disappoints me. Not because he might have eyes for Goldenrod, but because another original trilogy character is now ruined in some way. Not specifically because of this, but simply on principle alone. Simply because they changed the character for the sole purpose of pushing the agenda. And now they're making a film about Boba Fett? I look really forward to seeing how they ruin him too. Hold on. Let me tell you how this movie will go. Remember, you heard it here first. There will be a number of check boxes that will get checked in this film, hence check boxes. 1, there will be tons of wall-to-wall action. 2, that side-splitting comedic Boba Fett will be endlessly cracking one-liners. 3, there will be an asteroid field that he either hides in to avoid detection or a sage mentor will give him that tactical advice. 4, he'll be known for disintegrating people, just to set up that line of dialogue in Empire Strikes Back.
No disintegrations.
As you wish.
Because he likes to disintegrate people. I get it now. 5, he'll do lots of gun twirling. Lots and lots of gun... 6, he'll mention how he hates Sarlacc, or that he hates Tatooine because of Sarlacc. Somewhere a Sarlacc will be mentioned. 7, there will be a litany of nostalgic references to past movies. And last and least, there will be some lazy story about collecting bounties. There you go. That'll be the movie. Enjoy. So back in the very beginning, Queen Kathy said this gem.
The main thing is to protect these characters. Make sure that they still continue to live in the way that you created them.
And you lying If by live she meant destroy, then she's a woman of her word. Now we're witnessing the systematic ruination, if not assassination, of every character that George created. One by one, they're getting hunted down and executed. There was apparently a change in doctrine after Queen Kathy's disingenuous statement. But why? And who ordered it? Is this her version of Order 66? After Boba Fett, who's next on the most wanted list? Kenobi? What is Disney's problem with George's characters? They killed Han, they killed Luke, they killed Akbar, they killed the EU, they tarnished Lando, they continue killing the lore.
The main thing is to protect these characters, make sure that they still continue to live in the way that you created them.
And now they ruin the Millennium Falcon by making L337 forever part of the ship. L337, the most annoying character in the history of Star Wars. Yeah, more annoying than J.J. Binks. It's official. After 19 years, he's been replaced. It was a good reign, but all things must come to an end. They always talk about new characters and new blood, and taking new things in new directions, but all they keep doing is going back to Lucas's films with a blindfold and a pack of cigarettes. I'm seriously starting to wonder if George's white slavers comment during that Charlie Rose interview drew the ire of someone at Disney. Could it have been Queen Kathy who was rankled? After all, she's the brains behind the production of The Force Awakens. George saw it, then said that he sold it to white slavers on national television. Ooh, that's gotta sting. The longer that she's been running Lucasfilm, sorry, Freudian slip, information has been surfacing that she has her claws into everything. My opinion, but I think the movies go the way she wants them to go, and you do what she tells you to do, or you're gone. Just ask the parade of directors that she's fired. So although she's not credited as a writer, I'd find it very hard to believe that her, quote, suggestions wouldn't carry lots of weight. Or you get fired. Or maybe I'm just reading way too much into coincidence, but this murderous rampage seems a little too coincidental not to have motive behind it. It's just my opinion. I don't have any inside information or anything like that. I'm just observing and hypothesizing. And holy crap, where the hell was I? Solo, right, Solo. I thought it was a typical Disney Star Wars movie. We should be used to the same old song and dance by now. Lots of mindless action, lots of humor, lots of references to George's movies, social politics and agendas, and a thin, lazy story. There you have it, the same 5 ingredients in every Disney Star Wars crap soup. So this film's been out long enough for ticket sales to come rolling in, and yikes! Not exactly what they were expecting. A little bit less, and just as quickly the excuses from the shills and apologists followed. There had to be some reason why this spectacle of movie magic didn't make $8 billion. Let's go over these excuses. Star Wars fatigue. There's too many too often. People can't catch their breath from all the glorious Disney Star Wars. First off, show fatigue is a myth, probably made up by the studios because it's a kinder way of saying nobody gives a shit anymore. If fatigue was a real disease, then we wouldn't have any long-running TV shows or movie franchises, like Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, Stargate, the MCU, ER, The Simpsons, Batman, Harry Potter, James Bond, Star Trek? Do I have to keep going up an octave? And that's naming just some of many. Hell, General Hospital has been making new episodes every damn weekday for the last 55 years. I cannot believe that Carly was actually found not guilty. And now she's going to Ferncliff. How is she going? I'm getting off track. Stay on target. What? Right. Fatigue. I'm not buying it. Opening on a holiday weekend. Well, Star Wars has traditionally opened in May, mid-May, and I don't think it's ever been mentioned to be a problem before, so I don't know why it is now. Infinity Wars didn't have a problem, so I'm not buying this either. Either way, if the holiday weekend was a problem, then it should pick up for the following weekend, wouldn't it? Especially after the blitz of fresh advertising.
Variety declares this is the movie you're looking for. L337 is inspirational. The New York Times proclaims that Solo is a pulse-pounding thrill ride that will keep audiences' mouths agape long after it's over. The Washington Post raves Alden Ehrenreich is mesmerizing, giving the best performance of his or your life. 8 out of 5 stars.
See Solo, a Star Wars story in theaters now. And still down 65% the second weekend. Apparently everyone who was stuck at a cookout for the first weekend didn't flock to the theater for the second weekend. Or the third. And probably not the fourth. and people who actually did see it once seem to feel no great need to see it twice. Where have I seen that trend before? The Last Jedi. Competition from other big-ticket IPs, like Avengers and Deadpool. Did they open on the same weekend? Don't think so. Even if they did, it's
Star Wars! Nothing but Star Wars!
no one was asking for a Solo film. I do remember a little bit of talk about that. But at the same time, though, I remember the same kind of talk about Rogue One. Yet another film with the Death Star in it? Again? That's 4 of the last 5. Where's the originality? That's what people were saying, I remember that. You're always going to get a bunch of people not specifically asking for whatever's next. It doesn't mean they won't go see it. It's
Star Wars! Don't let them in.
get back in line! And also, the general audience isn't invested in the Han Solo character, so it shouldn't matter to that segment anyway. The Solo boycott. Again, the general audience doesn't care about any boycott, so that doesn't affect their ticket buying, or lack thereof. As for the Star Wars fans, I'm sure that there was, on an individual level, singular. But there wasn't really anything very organized that I can remember seeing, was there? Nothing that would have made that big of a dent in the numbers, at least. Everyone is looking for excuses for the abysmal ticket sales. It could very well be possible that the franchise is simply in trouble. I have my own guesses as to what's happening. Generally, it's a combination of 2 things. 1, the general audience, we've talked about them, is losing interest in Star Wars. And 2, the fans are starting to get very displeased. Not all of them, maybe not even half of them, but enough to be very noticeable. Now, by its nature, the general audience was always going to be fleeting. They're not emotionally invested in the franchise. They're just there because it's shiny. Once the shine wears off, they'll turn their attention to the next big thing that comes along. That's why they showed up in the first place. The Force Awakens was the next big thing. So losing a chunk of that audience over time was to be expected. As for the Star Wars fan, I think that a growing segment has grown very aggravated for a number of reasons. Some reasons more than others, but these are the 5 possibles that I came up with. 1, the heavy-handed political garbage. It started innocently enough with a female lead yelling at some man to let go of her hand, along with a diverse cast where only the white men are evil. Well, Han and Luke were good guys, but they were grandfathered in. Rogue One followed suit with another female lead, and with an even more diverse cast. If you're a gamer, Battlefront 2, another female lead. Coincidence? Possibly. The Last Jedi kicked it up a notch, having all the women rescue the emasculated men from their own incompetence, along with additional awareness about animal cruelty, child abuse, human trafficking, and corporate greed. I like the irony in that last one. And then comes Solo, with Pando Lando and the Kathleen Kennedy droid named L3. Will it ever end? Enough with the unrelenting propaganda already. Equality, we know. Everyone has a right to breathe oxygen. We get it. Awareness. We're already aware. These films are turning into Oscar acceptance speeches. Number 2, Disney Star Wars is not Star Wars. As George Lucas once said, he just wanted to tell a story. It starts here and it went there. There's more to it than just spaceships. But Disney Wars is trying to Marvelize it by packing it full of action and humor along with some semblance of a story just because there has to be one. What happened to well-written characters and well-thought-out stories that make sense? What happened to the storytelling? It seems to be in thin supply these days. Number 3, the assassination of beloved characters. Han's devolving from rebellion general to grumpy swindler before lame death was one thing, but Carrie Poppins and the dismantling of Luke Skywalker was the last straw. Everyone was so excited to see Luke again, until they saw Luke again. Who the hell was that supposed to be? When Luke took a swig of that sea monster's crotch milk, that was the disturbance in the Force, when millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror. I fear something terrible has happened. Number 4, the condescending Disney employees. J.J. Abrams, Rian Johnson, Pablo Hidalgo, John Kasdan, just to name a few, have routinely been attacking the fans for being intolerant, bigots, racist, homophobes, sexists afraid of strong women, so on and so on. If you think that Rey and Finn are crappy characters, then you're obviously misogynist and racist. That's their point of view. that could be a wee bit insulting generalization. But hey, way to represent your company well, guys. Real professional. Now, there's a lot of idiot fans out there that probably deserve it, but you can't do that. At my job, if I were to publicly talk to our customers like that, regardless of the crap they were saying about me or the company I work for, I would get promptly called up to HR and be handed a box, to put all my stuff in before they walk me to my car. Apparently things work differently at Disney. And number 5, Kathleen Kennedy is wearing out her welcome. She's supposed to be the composed leader behind Disney Wars, and I'm seeing a whole lot of disorganization and chaos. If people think that this ship is heading further and further in the wrong direction, it's very appropriate to blame the captain for it. Everything is happening under her watch, if not by her guiding hand and nodding approval, with a little smirk on her face. Now, maybe I'm way off base, who knows, but something is definitely going on, and the backlash appears to be very real. The lackluster numbers for Solo could very well be a statement by the fans. You can write respectful emails to Disney all you want, and they'll be ignored. But affect their bottom line by not giving them your money, then they'll take serious notice. It's one of the only ways to really get their attention. I will be very interested to see the lead up to Episode 9. Will Disney make any serious changes before then? Will an organized boycott grow in strength? Is Star Wars really in trouble? There are signs. Well, that's all I got. This is where I'm supposed to say, tell me what you all think. I guess you can't if you want to. So until next time, as always, anyone who listened, I thank you for your time. Have a good one.